Hello and welcome to the early autumn update from Medway. Now I'm recording this on the Saturday before Gets, but I'm not sure whether this will go out before or after. So I'll do in my next video a catch up from Gets, and I'm hoping to bump into a few people. I know Alan from Buckland Junction, Charlie McGowan, Park Hill, all the way over from Canada. Graham Forston's going to be there, and I think Timber Surfy is organising a meetup. I'm going up with the chaps from Chatham Model Railway Club, so I'm quite looking forward to it. So in this video, which is pretty similar to the previous view, continued work on to the station area. Now, preparing for winter, we got the garden furniture away, and it gave me a good chance to sort the garage out. So now I can easily get in and out without having to move too much stuff. So we can crack on. So you'll see what we've done there. One thing I must remember is that when we look at the station area, you'll see that there's a ramp for making the station accessible, and that idea came from Lord Al at Dragon Junction. I had a very nice chat with him over the phone, and yep, I'm never too proud to take somebody else's ideas. So thank you, Lord Al. So that's a little look at the station area. We will then be having a look at some new arrivals. Now, there's not been too many new arrivals as in rolling stock, so we'll only have a quick look there. There'll be a couple of running shots, but not too many, because with work on the layout, there's bits and bobs all over the track area, so not too much there, but we are cracking on. So, as the saying goes, without further ado, let's get into the station. Cheers, everybody. As always, I value your comments and suggestions. And John from X-Haven and Lee Wall both come up with the same one. And it was something I was thinking of myself, that where we had the station and the base before, it really was too close to the warning line. And by slipping in an extra 3 centimetre base, we can bring it back. So now we would end up with a nice gap between the station and the platform edge, and also give us a nice walkway along here. You'll see the base will be covered with the stone and levelled up. But what John did suggest, and Lee in fact, was to put maybe an extension to the baseboard here. I'm using a piece of card, and I was thinking of a roadway. I'm not sure. What I had in mind was here would be offsetting the entrance in to the parking area. Here's a bus stop, and then it would exit out. Passengers would then be able to walk along up the steps, or to put a little disabled access there. There's going to be a ticket machine, and they've got plenty of room to go along and in. Along this side would be something similar, but maybe for pedestrian and bike access, along here and along there. And we would just have this as the edge. Don't know what you think. First job will be to cover the platform or this base with the paving, and I'm going to be sticking together the platforms. Okay, so once again, thanks to John and Lee. Okay, some more work done on the station area. We have got, for the footbridge platform, some safety tubular barriers in place, as you can see there. And then moving on to the station concourse, we have a disabled access ramp. Now, just once I'm certain that I've got it in the right position, just along here I'll put a little bit of filler in, and also smooth that off as well, so there's not a lip. But as we move along, you can see that we've got the safety barriers in place there. Just doing a little bit of testing on clearances. As I say, I want to make sure that I've got the platforms in the correct position. So this is one of my longest coaches, and that will go smoothly through. Along there, and then if we move over to this one, oops, excuse me, let's just get it back on track. There we go, and that goes through. Okay, now you'll notice that there's gonna be a gap here. Unfortunately, it's just to get the clearances right. It will be a bit of a jump, so we'll probably have the two coaches stopping around about there. If we do move over to a 3-coacher, then we'll have to have a mind the gap sign. So there we are, that's where we moved on to. Okay. Okay, just finishing off now this bit of the platform, and I've just sort of weathered those steps there. I've put along here some covering of the edges and at the end of the platforms. Now, similar to Strood, where you have the footbridge that goes across, which Bunter's Yard is building, and it's not a footbridge as such, it's a lift, so effectively disabled access, but of course you're only going to get probably 5 or 6 people or a wheelchair in at one time. Now, how do you then get the bulk of the passengers who want to get across from platform 1 to 2 after entering the building? Well, at Strood there's a subway. Now, I didn't fancy cutting into these excellent Bunter's Yard platforms and build ones, and I have seen on site, similar to this, a shelter which would prove very similar to the one at Strood, where it's the entrance to the subway plus where you can sit down. So I'm just putting these 2 shelters in what I've got as an idea, so that will be effectively the subway across, and then from here you've got the footbridge access. So if you're coming across and you want to get to platform 1, you'd come up the footbridge, down through the subway and across. Okay, there we go. And just to finish off with a picture of the taxi and bus area. New arrivals to Medway. And there hasn't been too many. First up is from Revolution Trains, the WIA covered car carriers. Now, these ran down to the Channel Tunnel for sending cars overseas, from the rail freight distribution era right through EWS and to the present day. So ideal for me. Revolution Trains do a system where they announce a project, and if you stump up half or pay in full, then when they're dispatched, the price you pay is at a discount, and that works out really well. So I was pleased with those. We will see them running at some stage in a future video when we've got the track back up and open. Secondly, I was at the show in Faversham, and I've got a little project in mind and was on the lookout for a Class 20. Now, luckily for me, Mick from All Wheels, who is a well-known trader in the southeast and usually has some extremely good and competitive pricing on these items. Now, I found, and we'll see a bit of it running, a Buckman Class 20 in a DRS livery. And to give you a clue, it doesn't really matter what livery it was in, sound fitted, and I got that for £120. I'm lucky that Mick tends to give me a discount. James was from the club was there and managed to spot that. So thanks to them both. Got it out the box. Looked like it hadn't run. Put it on my track. Gave it a run, and it runs perfectly, as you'll see. So that's a Class 20. Now we move over to Temu. I thought I'd dip my toe into the Temu world again. So first up was a set of tweezers. Now, they come in a pouch and they look pretty darn good. I've used a couple of them. Of course, it'll go to see how robust they are, but on first look, for the cheapest chips price, seems very good. Second up, figure painting. I tend to start off by giving a blast of black and then a little blast of white from the top, and it just helps with shadowing. But when you've got 00 figures, it's very difficult to hold. So I saw these, I suppose for want of a better word, magnetic prongs with a little crocodile clip at the top, bendable. I thought those would be ideal, and yeah, they do. They're like a third hand, handy for both priming and for painting. Again, cheap as chips, and it will remain to see how, again, robust they will be. Secondly, for panel lines, and I think it cost me under £1, is almost like a calligraphy pen. But I think what you do is you dip it into your panel wash, and then it's easy to place on those panel lines. So that will get a try at in a little while. And then lastly from Temu, which I thought was excellent, is just this little box which includes screwdrivers, lots of different heads, magnetic, long shaft, another shaft that is bendable. So ideal when you're trying to get into those awkward screws to release bodies from locos. So again, we'll see how that goes in the through time, but again, very cheap. So that's Temu. And lastly, model railway scenes. Now there's been a fair bit of I suppose not controversy, but is model railway still scenes still trading, orders taking a long time, wrong orders going out, no replies to emails. And yeah, I've used model railway scenes for a few years now, and no peat gone. And I was surprised that that had happened. But I know he had some health issues a while back. But I needed some items that he did customizable for Medway. So I put an order in. And I put the order in on the 30th of August. And I got notification that it was being processed. Um, got a notification that it was dispatched and it arrived on the 13th of September. So a couple of weeks. Now, I've wanted some station boards and I wanted them double-sided, and Pete does the customizable ones, and I wanted them in blue to match Southeastern and what's at Strood, and it captured the colour almost exactly right. So that's brilliant. It saves me having to paint them. He's also done me a couple of Medway signs for the station building, which look excellent. And then I wanted some seating, and the ones he does matches quite well the ones at Strood. So you'll see the pictures of them. I was pleased with them, and yeah, that's just my experience. I'm not affiliated to Pete, but that's my experience of model railway scenes. So hopefully that will stop the speculation. Okay, there we are, the new arrivals. Okay, I thought we'd have a closer look at the Revolution Trains WIA wagons. Um, if we go down, you can absolutely see how crisp and detailed the lettering is. And if we just go down here, you'll see that little bar, and that is where the next wagon clips onto. So you've got an articulated feel. Now if I just roll it down just through here, there you go. You can see how crisp and clear the detailing is on it. Absolutely superb. And I've got to say, these are probably the most free-running wagons that I've had. I did worry that how the 5-car articulated system would work, and let me say it works perfectly. This year was the last year that Chatham Historic Dockyard had their Salute to the 40s weekend, and they asked us if we wouldn't mind bringing layouts and displays over for the weekend, and of course we were delighted to do that. So we bought Have a Go Junction, which is the Thomas the Tank Engine loopy layout that the youngsters are encouraged to have a go. We had a static layout and then an O-gauge shunting puzzle that James had set up so that it could be operated from a tablet. And again, we encouraged both young and old to have a go, and that proved extremely popular. And I had the pleasure of being one of the operators on the Saturday. Oh, we also had a lovely display of Southern Region locos from James, and which was really impressive. And also, and I hope I've got it right, that it's Daryl and Graham's collection of locos going from, we had N-gauge right up to I think 5 inch, but you'll see from the footage, it was extremely impressive as well. As I say, it proved very popular. Also, the Salute to the 40s was a smashing weekend, and I took a few pictures when I had my break, so that'll give you a little taster for it. So let's have a look. Salute the 40s. So that's the end of the early autumn update. What's next? Well, we'll be cracking on with the station. Want to get the lighting in, not a job I'm looking forward to, but like to get the lighting in, and then we can do some detailing on the station platforms and actually do the detailing on the inside of the station building. A little bit of I suppose scenic work at the far end, near the uh, railings, the fencing, but that can wait. Once we've got the station area done and in place, then at least we can open up the tracks and we can actually run some trains again. Probably after that, I might be looking at the industrial area to work on next. But again, that won't affect the running area, which is good. So look out for that. I'll keep you updated. Um, by the time you look at this video, I will either be going to Getz or have been to Getz. And again, in the next update, we'll see how we got on there. So a little bit of running shots, and then it always leaves me to say, look after yourself, keep safe, happy modelling. Cheers, everyone.